Man, woo, this movie really just like, ooh. Detroit is a story by Catherine Bigelow, who you guys know my very well won the award for Best Director for The Hurt Locker. Did recently Zero Dark 30. If you go way back, she's done Point Break. So she's been in this game for a long time. She has good movies up her credit. She is a director that can just make something like bring something to life, make it really real, it really intense, kind of movie that just something that sticks with you and you can kind of mostly relate to it. Detroit, this was interesting because especially recently how her movies have been. I feel like yeah, she is a perfect person, or not a perfect, but she's a good candidate to bring this movie, like to bring at least the emotions to get the audience going. And then the cast really was interesting all around. We had like Anthony Mackie, Will Poulter, John Boyega. We had Jason Mitchell. Just name a few. Like, they're not household names, maybe except for like John Boyega because of Star Wars now. But they're if you know your movies, you know these characters. And it was interesting to see like Will Poulter. I'm like, from We're the Millers, but then after seeing The Revenant, I was like, I'm gonna give him a chance with this. And it's just overall an interesting take. It's all about the Detroit riots, just what went on in the '60s, and then it also kind of focused on the incident that happened around Algiers. And this movie, it really had nothing related to what I'm gonna say, but it reminded me like the Purge. It was called the first one, The Purge. Like it was about to be this whole event with this kind of holiday thing was about. And this movie they named it Detroit as in kind of like center around the whole riots, but really those two movies focused on a certain point, an isolated part of that whole big thing. So it's like this movie could have been called like Algiers or something. Just interesting to see that. And some movies have done it. They call it one thing. It's kind of the story around everything, but it really centers on something. So it was interesting to see that. Just and I kind of knew because of the trailers. I knew it wasn't going to just be based on the whole riots, and it focused the trailers mostly on that, the hotel incident. But just interesting to think of something like that. So we focus on these people. Accidentally, Easy East, Jason Mitchell, he just plays around, shoots his toy gun, tries to start something, even though not actually trying to. Just be like sticking it to the law, and it comes back, bites a lot of people, even those that weren't a part of it. They just the cops, everybody just comes in, questions them, who shoots them, who tried shooting at first. Do you guys have a sniper? And even though some people are trying to say that they didn't do it, the cops won't take it. And just seeing the story, especially how like that middle portion, just it has that horror like it's something real that goes on. Okay, like just this is something that goes on whether it was in the past, today, it could happen in the future. It's just this is an event that it happens. It could happen in your front door. Just and then the way the authority and the way they're interrogating these people is just horrifying. Like how they try to manipulate them and try to think one thing just to kind of confess something, and how far they'll go. And the people how innocent they are. They're trying to prove they're not doing nothing, but they still get you know just attacked for it. Just because if it's not a certain point of view, then the other people are just not going to have it. It's just interesting to see that. Just and I like how it wasn't all one side or the other. Even people that are one side of the thing kind of agreed towards the other sides, and I appreciated that also because we weren't just gonna get a pure black and white. There's also gray areas of how certain people think from one side and the other. So bringing that in, it made me even more just interested in this movie. I just liked it more because we were able to bring in some people that don't just think one side. So it was great seeing characters like that. More of the things that I had, issues was kind of like the characterization, the structures of how it was, how we had one character to the other. I understood once I see the whole movie why the characters, we had, but as I'm going through it, I'm like, do I really need this? Do we really need these people? And then other people where it looks like they would have had a prominent role end up eventually becoming like secondary characters. Like you don't get too much about them. And it's based on a real true story. It probably ended like it was like this, but just judging it as a movie, it just I don't know. I really did love this movie, but I had some criticisms with it, like characters like that, and then other ones that like we base some time with that eventually it's like I know it's to kind of, you know, show how far can this go, but you know, you devote some screen time to them that really just you could have you didn't need in this, and it still kind of not changed everything. But I know we're trying to push the edge of how far we'll go to test people, so I can get that. But overall, it's a powerful movie. This is a movie, you know, you need to check out if like you're gonna see for like, you know, what you need to learn about these situations. Good movie on that. I'm gonna have to give Detroit a B. So let me know, guys, what you thought of this movie. Okay, how gripping was it for you? How invested were you? All this in the comments below. And as always, Roland Empire, laugh, smile, repeat.